Python developer, this Python developer will create 100 or 1,000 lines of code for us, right? And this developer will just put this all the code in the packages, right? So being a network developer, what you have to do is you just need to use these packages in our program so we can automate our network devices, right? So this is the way that network or developer works, right? And that is a good thing for us. Being a network developer, we need not to worry about this particular code that they have written, right? So this is the one of the key difference. Now, what is the usability? Then why the net automation day by day is now more, or the craze of automation is now what we can say hotcake in a market? The thing is like, see, let's take an example that you need to grab the details from, let's say, 100 devices at a single time. We can say a running configuration that you need to grab for 100 devices. If you're going to fetch the running configuration manually as in our usual process and save it to the any file, let's say I'll take an example, I need to save to the txt file. Hardly for one device we can say it will gonna take 10 minutes. It's a hardly time. You can consider 7 or 8 minutes as well. But if we are considering the 100 devices, could be more than an hour, more than 2 hours, depends on the speed of the person. But if you use the network automation, this task of more than 2 hours, more than hour will gonna reduce to 1 minute. The format that you want, you can convert it .txt, .xls, .json, .xml. What format that you want, you can get the details from the devices, right? This is the first parameters. Let's move ahead with next slide and let's see what is the other stuff. So this is something about me, guys. I have 8+ years of experience in network domain, plus I have certified in Python as well as CCNA. Automation Anywhere is a part of RPA, which is robotics process automation. I have certified in AWS, and recently I have cracked my cyber warrior certification. And since the last 3 years, I'm doing network automation training. So, and right now I have just joined one of the biggest organization which help as a network developer. Now let's move ahead with the why network automation nowadays. So guys, what I would say is we need network automation for few of the points. Let's say we need for configuring the devices for configuration purpose. We need for monitoring, right? Because we all know that we are paying huge cost of those software just like SolarWinds, right, to monitor our devices. But if we monitor our device with the help of Python, which is free, or we can say we not need to pay anything to this, but for using this code in Python, right? So this cost will be gonna save if you use monitoring system as a Python. Then managing is a very key point. We all know we all are into the services, and we need to manage our network, right? If there is any link down, if there is a network outage, so at that time we need to manage our network at that time. So here you can use this Python automation. Now the fourth point is testing. Always, if you are sending any configuration, you need to check that configuration has been sent to that particular device or not. At that time you can also use this Python network automation skills. Let's understand this with a quick example. Let's say you have your router with you, right? So here,
is there something else I can help with?
My bad. So here in your router, there is one interface. Let's say this is a BGP interface, and I have observed that from ISP, I'm observing the input errors, right? So I got to know that due to this input errors, my users are getting fluctuation in the internet, as well as they are facing any issues. So what you can do is, being a network engineer, if there is a P1 or P2 call, what will be your work? You need to jump on these calls and you need to get the status done, or explain the status. What is the network troubleshoot that you have? So what you're gonna do is you have to log into each and every devices. You need to check the interface status, what is the BGP status are, and then you need to give your feedback. But The second scenario is that if you have monitored this interface with the help of Python, right? You know that there are few interfaces in my BGP are you can set your limit that if this interface occurs the errors, which is you can set the limit, or I can here I'm just setting it will be too high, then automatically shut down the interface. So after shutting down, the connection will be going to the backup and there will be no issue, and you will also get the alert by email. So here, if you use automation, you are going to carry 2-3 things, or you can say you're going to avoid 2-3 things. First is you have actually there should be no P1 or P2 call because your connection will be on the backup. Second, you can go and you can play with this particular interface. You can do your troubleshoot without affecting the users. That is the biggest thing that you have to deal with it. Third, the cost saving. Obviously, if there should be no P1 call, obviously there should be the cost saving purpose will come over here. And the last most point is the what we can say, the complexity of the network will gonna be easier for you guys. Now, why we require automation? So guys, we all know that there are few, we used to deal with the changes in our day-to-day work, right? So let's take an example. You have two routers, not router, let's take switches. Let's say you have two switches with us, right? Switch 1 and switch 2, and you need to upgrade this both of the switches, but these both switches are of different series. Let's say this is 2960 switch, or you can take any switch, right? 43xs or something. So what you can do is here at the time of change by mistake, if you did something, you did something wrong to switch number 2 by human error, what you can say, what we can do is, rather than pushing the image of switch number 1, we have pushed the same image on switch number 2. So this is human error, right? So to avoid this human error, we can use automation in our day-to-day work. What you can do is a simple thing. You can just create a script of upgrading, right? You can save your images with the proper name. Let's say this is my folder, and in here in this folder I have saved my images with the particular I can say model name 2960. So when my script will gonna run, it will gonna take each image with the correct name, so there will be no human error, right? And this is not just for upgrading the devices. Let's say you need to configure thousands of hundreds of interfaces of different switches, right? So let's say if you want to create the VLANs on each interface, so at that time what you're gonna do, usual process, you're gonna log into the device via SSH or telnet, then going to the interface and then creating the VLAN, giving the IP address and all. It will gonna take time. So here, let's say you have to configure this 6 switches. Then usually for configuring one switch, you're gonna take 1 to 2 minutes. But with the help of automation, this time we can save with the help of Python code that you will gonna create. And guys, there is a myth that for jumping into the Python or jumping into the network automation, you need to know any particular you have to study any particular programming to jump into it. So here what we are going to do is we will going to start our course from the scratch of the Python basics. So after the slides, I'll gonna show you that syllabus, that what we have and what we are going to deliver. So this is the next slide that we have. So let's take the example, this particular user has been facing the issues or connectivity issues. So our usual process is we have to log into the nearest switch, and then via nearest switch, we have to identify this particular other switch, the gateway switch, and then after that, after logging to this particular switch, we have to identify where that user is connected. Then we'll log into this switch, and then at the end we have to log into the end switch, and then we got to know that this particular user is connected to port number 15 of this switch. It's a waste of time, right? For login to each and every switches, it's a waste of time. Obviously, if this or if this particular port is connected to multiple users, right? But let's say this only gateway has been down, this entire connection of this switch will go down. So it will be a trickiest situation at that time. So what we can do is we can monitor our entire interfaces with the help of Python, right? So whenever this user will goes down, the alert of this interface we will get into our particular email box. We can set that alerts. That is totally depends on you. So that is why we have to automate, and there is a need of automation nowadays, because every organization, see, right now let's take the example of security person. We all know that security is very important, but if you're going to looking for a change in your industry, you have to do something else that all person or all people are doing. So at that time, what you can do is you can try to automate your current day-to-day work, which will show you, which will gonna help you in your career, as well as it will gonna what we can say, it will gonna increase your skills in your for your better growth, right? So let's move ahead with the next slide. So this slide is from Cisco only. What Cisco is saying, that we all knows that 95% of network changes today's are done manually. Obviously, it's a fact that even in our network industry, we all know that we are doing our changes manually, right? We used to follow our RFC process, then approvals and all this style like of stuff will going to come in our future. But what the help of automation, we can avoid these particular things in our day-to-day life. Now, second thing is like manual changes leads to configuration errors and the inconsistency in the network. As I told you, it's a basically example of human error. We can also reduce the human errors. Now, expanding the network changes at the scale can be problematic. So let's take an example. If you need to configure the data center, so we all know for the data center we need to connect our huge devices into that. So it could be two ASR routers, then layer 3 switches, and then access switches and all, or Nexus switches, access switches and all, right? So for configuration wise, it will be very tricky to maintain or manage those devices after the services will get started, right? So what we can do is we can manage these devices with the help of Python. And as I told you, in the future, the network orchestrator is also coming. So it will gonna help you if you learn automation. It will also gonna help you in future. Let's move ahead. That network downtime and non-remote troubleshooting. Obviously, it's like I told you the non-remote troubleshooting steps. Example here. This is the example of non-remote troubleshooting. Right. Whenever the user will gonna facing any issues, automatically the alert will generate and we will get the email. Now let's what we can say, let's know about, or let's discuss something about Python, right? Just a few slides and then we will move towards our demo, live demo. So guys, Python has been developed by Guido van Rossum in 1991 only, and in 1999 it's open for all the users. So GVR developed it, and GVR is the 2006 it has been most popular, and since 2006 we all are using it. Right now there is a craze in the market, and it's a hot cake because of few what we can say multinational organizations has been started with using Python. So this is our latest report, that PYPL is like it's a popularity of the programming rank they used to share with every month. This is pretty old for me, but yeah, I'm damn sure that if you're gonna check today's as well, you'll see that Python is on the biggest shareholders in this rank as well. The second thing is, like as I told you, Python is an open source platform. You can use Python in any of the we can say any of the platform. You can use it at the Linux, you can use it in the Ubuntu. Ubuntu is only the Linux. It's Unix, Linux, or Mac, just like I'm using in Mac, and Windows, that is for sure. Now the advantage is that it's a free of cost. You not need to pay anything to Python. You just need to install it and start automating. The key funda is only you need a connectivity to your network devices. That's it. The thing is like why this has been hotcake in market, because the multiple company, just like Google has just now started, because GVR worked in Google and he developed the Python in Google only when he was in Google. Then Dropbox, Quora, and Instagram just now started using Python nowadays. Now, okay, we are hearing lot of reasons that why we have to learn Python. But guys, there is one thing named as IDE, right? Integrated development environment. So what we have to do is we need a platform where we can run our code, named as IDE. So here in our class, what we are gonna use is we are using Python 3, which is the latest version. There is another version is 2, but right now we are not using it. Second, as a IDE, we are using, there are multiple IDEs. Let me tell you that PyCharm, you can use it in any IDE, whichever you like. Notepad++, you can use ideally as well. You can use Google Colab, right? So there are multiple, but here in our class, we are going to use PyCharm because it is very much comfortable for Python. Third, how we are configuring our labs. So guys, for labs, I'm gonna tell you how we can configure on GNS3 and EVE, right? So this both, for few of the automations, we are going to use GNS3, and for few of the automation, we are going to use EVNG tool. That's it about Python now. So guys, see, I'm going to tell you that that there are two versions. So here we are using 3.0 version, and that packages and what packages that we need to download, what is the package that we're gonna see in our live session, live class. Okay, that's it about why network automation is needed in our day-to-day work. Now the thing is, let's move towards our lab, but before lab I want to show you the syllabus of our class, that what we have. So we ultimately have 5 modules, guys. The first module, as I told you, we have to start from the scratch of the Python, because there are few people who really don't know the Python and they want to grow their career in Python. So we have a module number 1 for them. So overview of Python. Then we're gonna see that how we can install Python, how we can install GNS3, PyCharm, how to deal with the EVNG with the help of Python, how we can connect the Python and EVNG servers or devices, that we're gonna see. Then there are data types, which is the most important part of it. Then thing is like operators. So operators is also the key point. If you want to operate with two operands, two operands, just like you can consider two values. If you need to operate for there, you have to use operators. Then there are functions. So until this, if you learn function, is like I can say that 25% of part it depends on functions. 25% of automation part depends on functions. Let's move towards next thing, which is list, tuple, and dictionaries. This is a heart of our network automation. We have to play every time with list, dictionaries, and tuples, right? So we're gonna cover that as well. Then the conditional statement that we saw in one of the example, right? If the particular interfaces is too high, so let me zoom it for you guys. So if the particular input errors is too high, then we have to uh, shut down that interface. So there we have to use the conditional statement. Then we have the file handling. Let's say if you need to handle .txt file, XLS file, right? Excel file, then you could have to handle JSON file or XML file. That how we can handle those file, how we can handle those errors, that will also gonna be covered in exception handling, right? And there are few important modules in Python that we need to learn, and how we can install it, that we're gonna see in our next class. So guys, after learning this particular until this point, I'm damn sure that you're gonna able to write your own code after 2 or 3 classes only, right? but you need to be regular in the class. That is the only condition. Then we will move towards API, and here we're gonna learn what is REST API. It's a just advantage part for you guys. To be frank, I'm gonna tell you that how you can automate your device with the help of APIs. This is somewhat theory in module 1. Then module 2 is a complete network automation part. So in module 2, we're gonna learn four libraries. First is telnet lib, how you can deal with your devices with the help of telnet. Each and every module is considered 12 to 13 labs, including advanced lab. So advanced lab is like it has the more complexity in your code, more complex code, more to learn, right? So here and hence I have added advanced lab in each and every module. So each lab will gonna tell you the until 12 it will gonna free of what we can say, it will gonna increase our network automation knowledge. So Paramiko is like if you want to deal with SSH, then we can use Paramiko. Netmiko is the same, but Netmiko is much faster than Paramiko. We will clear the difference when we're gonna start this both of the libraries. Napalm is an advanced one, guys. Right now I can say as being a network developer, we are using Napalm in our day-to-day life, and few of the network devices is gonna use Napalm. Let's move ahead. I think I have few more with this section. Few more. Let me. Yeah. Now the two part of module 2 is remaining with like multi-threading. Okay, we have learned that we have to automate those devices, but what if the 100 devices that we have and I need to automate those 100 devices? I want to ask my program to run simultaneously on these 100 devices. So that is the concept of multi-threading. We're gonna learn what is multi-threading and then how we can handle the Excel files. If any configuration that you want to fetch from the devices and save it to the Excel, because usually our client they used to send the configuration setup and all in the Excel format, and then you need to push that information to the devices. So we have part for that. Then module 3 is completely for ASA firewall. It's a security part. Here we're gonna see that how we can automate our ASA firewall, and there are 5 to 6 labs in the security module. Now module 4 is for Palo Alto firewall. It's basically a part of APIs, guys. Module 4 and module 5, it's just add-on part that we are giving to you guys, which includes six labs. Here we have to deal with APIs, how we can create the objects, how we can deal with the policies, how we can fetch the details. We're gonna see that in Palo Alto. Now the final module is named as F5. So here as well we have to use SDK platform, how the REST API works in F5. So that we need to that we are giving to you with the help of network automation, which is the add-on part of APIs. So that's it about our labs. So this is our lab. Actually, right now need to turn on that lab. So it will gonna take at least 2 to 3 minutes. Give me 2 to 3 minutes. Quickly, I'll just add that lab. So before that, let me show you that lab as well. So guys, this is our lab that we have in our Skills Inspirations Academy. So we have a lab which includes Palo Alto firewalls, ASA firewalls, a few of the routers, L3 switches and all. So you're gonna learn how to deal with the network stuff as well as security one, right? And I'm gonna also show you that how we can configure the BGP stuff in our networks. So it has been started, I think so. Okay. I used to, I think I used to turn on this lab earlier, but today's not taking time. Okay. So, Hemu, are you on the line? Okay, he's here. Can we take the
Yes,
question?
I'm here. Yeah.
Can we take the questions till then? So meanwhile, my lab will gonna start, and then we can give you the live demo for the automation. Or shall we can wait for 5 minutes?
No. Let me take the questions. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's take the questions.
yeah.
So just let me give me a second. Yeah, guys. So if you want, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question if you have any.
Yeah, Himu, my question is that I am from security background and I am working on Checkpoint as well as Palo Alto. So in regarding automation, can we automate the VPN configuration as well as the IPS and the policies that are configured on the firewall?
Yes, definitely you can.
Okay. Okay.
So guys, see, if you want to automate your policies and all, so here what we can do is we have a specific lab for sending the policies, configuring the policies, configuring anything on the firewall. So if you're gonna learn the basic concept, you can automate either it could be any of the firewall, it could be Checkpoint, could be Palo Alto or something.
What is the requirement for lab setup? Like
the thing is like, see, what I want to suggest you guys is its minimum requirement, it's 8 GB, sorry, 16 GB and 16 GB of RAM at least. But if you don't have, you can go with 8 GB of RAM. But still, there are a few users with us that they have only 4 GB. So for that also, we have a solution. We can go ahead for that.
So hey Dheeraj, this is Shivam. Dheeraj, actually I was seeing like there are 5 modules. So are we covering all 5 modules under this fee structure of the course?
Yeah.
Okay. And see, I am not from the security background, but I do know about the ASA a little bit. My question is like I have expertise in routing and switching. So what course and content you are going to discuss here or train us in terms of the routing and switching?
Okay. So I
So
think
that I can utilize your concept in my other labs.
so for routing and switching, you're gonna learn how you can configure your OSPF BGP protocols, right? This is the first thing. Second thing is like, let's take an example that you got the project to configure the multiple or thousands or 500 VLANs on the devices. You need to create it, that we used to create, used to allow the ACL, we used to allow the what we can say, policies, right? ACL routes that you are going to configure it. So here, if you're gonna see that this particular lab, let's take lab number 8 of Paramico, it's gonna help how to create the VLANs, how to send the OSFREC configuration to the devices. So that type of stuff. And either if you really want that, yes, I can automate that as well. So at the point of time during the class, you can come with your ideas. I'm gonna help you with that. But it is like, I hope that you all will gonna understand, it is not possible to take each and every concept over here. But what I'm giving to is the particular path. From that particular path, you can automate any of the ideas that you have.
Okay, no problem. I got your idea.
Yeah.
Dheeraj,
So
my question. Yeah,
Mhm.
I have one question. As per your modules, mostly it is into implementation or into configuration of all the stuff. So can we also do troubleshooting by
see,
using Python?
the thing is like troubleshoot. Python will gonna help you in your day-to-day task, right? It's a not Python is a smart, but that is not smart is like human brains. So still we need the network engineers for troubleshooting. But for few tasks, just like just I told you, for say if P1 and P2 call, it will gonna help you in the troubleshooting. Like if some of the interface went down, the BGP interface will goes down, it will gonna notify you, and then you can identify that if this interface goes down, that is the reason that this P1 call has been.
So
That is
you,
the formula.
so you need
let
to say
me
that.
let me add here few more points. So the thing is, so if we will talk about the tools, like we are having like tools with Cisco tag or Palo Alto tag, right? All these tools, whatever they are using, these tools, they are mostly design or code on the Python only, guys. So what happens whenever if there is any issue in your network, right, and whenever you will ask for the RCA from the tech team, basically they will do the analysis of these things in front of these tools only, right? So if you are very good with the Python, you can design such kind of tools, and you can basically use these tools for just creating the RCA and all. Okay, so it will help you in these kind of things.
Got it.
I have one question. That Ansible is covered in this training.
We will
See,
not cover
yep,
Ansible.
thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm ready with my lab now. I'm going to show you step by step how we can go with our lab. So in this,
So guys, I am just putting mute everyone again. Okay, let me just do that. Yeah, Dheeraj, please unmute yourself.
yeah, thank you. So let's here in our demo session today, we are going to consider a module named as NetMiko. So here I'll just import that NetMiko. As I told you earlier, it's see building NetMiko package. It's a work of Python developer. Using that NetMiko package, it's a work of network developer. So what I'll do is I'm just using that particular package. The command for that is from NetMiko import connect handler. Connect handler is just a class. Don't worry about the class and all. We're gonna see in our particular live batch. And before that, let me show you my connectivity of the devices as well. That lab that I was talking about. So guys, this is our lab. So this is our net cloud. Here, these are the devices. Let's say this is my switches, right? This is ASA firewall. This is Palo Alto firewall that we have that we're gonna automate. And this particular stuff, there are many stuff over here, the routers and all. You can automate anything. So right now, what I'm going to do is I just need to automate this particular switch, right? So hence I have turned on that particular switch. This switch IP is I have already configured the switch with the help of SSH, right? I have already configured the SSH into the switch, and the IP is 192.168.1.221. So in our class, we're gonna see that how we can automate this thing from the scratch. One more thing, but that is a surprise for you. We're gonna see after this class at the end of the class, right? So let's go ahead for our particular lab. Give me a okay, it's in lab new, I guess. Okay, so here I have just imported that particular file. Then I'm creating one variable, right? So this, don't worry about what is variable and all. Variable is just a box where you can store your particular elements. Then here I'm now using dictionaries, right? I hope when I was explaining the module number 1, I told you dictionary, list, and tuple. It's a daily task of network automation. So guys, what is dictionary? Dictionary is like it will gonna store your ID password, your device type, what is the device that you're automating. So my device type is Cisco iOS now, right? So don't worry, there are few device type which is already there in Python. I'm gonna show you the list as well in the live class. So here I'm giving my IP address. So my IP address is like 192.168.1.221. Then what I'm going to do is I have set the username of my particular device, which is Dheeraj. Then I'll set my password. I have already set the password as Cisco. Right? Sorry, my bad. Cisco. Then I have already set the secret password as well, the enable password we can say as Cisco only. That's it. See guys, why I told you to we are using PyCharm is like PyCharm is a very advanced tool and most compatible, more what we can say compatible tool with the Python. Why? Because let's say I missed the comma over here, right? The syntax is we need to hit comma. Here I missed the comma. I'm getting the red lines below my code. So it is a pre-indication for us that we made a mistake over here. So here, if we hit comma, this error will gonna go. Now let's move ahead. Now again, I am taking one variable name as net connect. You can give any name to this variable. Now what I'm doing is here, see what I did over here is then Python developer has developed the package. We're gonna see in the class 1 what is package, but right now just for your information I can see you this, consider as a folder. Package is just like a folder. So in this folder there are multiple files, right? So here we are going to use those files. One of the file name is connect handler, right? So here I'm importing that file into my code. So this is my code. I'm just importing that file into my code, right? So after importing that file, it means whatever which is written into this file, whatever the function, I can use this function into my code and I can automate my device. So right now I have just imported it. So let's say this is connect handler, and in the connect handler there are multiple functions. So I need to tell Python just go to connect handler first, and then from connect handler pick this particular function that right now that I want to use it. So how to pick that we're gonna see now. So it's a variable. Now connect handler star iOS V. So right now what I'm doing is, let's say this is my device. This device has been configured with these details, right? This file that I have imported into my code. This is my code. This is my device, right? So this is connect handler. Suppose in this connect handler, I need to tell the Python that go to this device with these credentials, right? So I will send these credentials to this device now via connect handler, right? So what I'm doing over here is I'm just telling go to connect handler first with these details. So what is in iOS v2 variable? These details, the IP addresses and username and password. So I'm sending those details to my device to make the connection happen, right? The SSH connection I meant to say. Let's move ahead. Second, then I'm just writing for the user that entering to, let me write this and then I'll explain. Entering we can say entering to the enable mode. This depends on you. You can write anything. It's just a message to the user, right? So what we can do is, guys, we can enter to the enable mode, right? For entering into the enable mode, what we can do is simple thing, net connect. So from future, for the future use, our friend will be net connect, because in net connect we have connect handler which will now handle our device, right? So in this connect handler, everything means you can consider that this file is saved in net connect because it's a variable. I told you variable means a box. So in this box, everything which is written in the connect handler we're gonna save, and now we have to use that particular box. So how we can do it? This is connect handler. Now I am going to enter into the enable mode, right? So here until this part, so here we are, if our cursor will be at disconnect connect handler at this line, so we are now sending the information to the switch 1, right, with username and password. So after entering into this line, I am at this mode. I hope that you all know what are the modes that we have: enable mode, privilege mode, right? And global configuration mode, right? So here, after hitting this command, I am now here. I'm now here because I'm just writing enable, right? This is a particular command. So I'll also show you that how you can print what mode it is. So for printing what mode it is, in netmiko we already have inbuilt module named as find prompt. So what find prompt will do, whatever the mode that we have, it will gonna print, right? What I'm doing, print means just display the message. So whatever the mode that we have, it will gonna print in front of you, right? So I'm in enable mode now. So let's see, at the end of the program we have to get this switch one and hash. Then move ahead with one more thing. So I'm also again creating one variable name as output, and the command that I'm gonna use, I'll gonna tell you now. After going to the enable mode, let's say I need to check the interface status. Here I need to check the interface status. We all knows the command is like show IP interface brief on switches, on Cisco switches. So here what we can do is we can send this particular command. So for sending the command, we already have a module named as send command. So here what we can do is just write the command show IP interface brief, right? That's it. After hitting this command, this particular command will go to our device, right? This particular command will go to our device. But guys, see, until this part, it is just sending the command. But if we want to check the output, always we need to print that output, right? Then and then we are able to see, right? So this output, whatever the output of this show IP interface brief, will gonna stored in which variable? Output variable. Why? Because we have declared that output variable as a box. So whatever the thing that we're gonna send over here, we're gonna save into this output variable, and simply we are printing whatever the data that we have. That's it. Simple code. So this code, see, until if you want to run show run as well, here you can run it show run, right? If you want to fetch any details, you can simply overlap or simply edit this particular command, you'll get the output. Let's run the code and check whether it is working or not. See, I'm running. I think there is some mistake I did, because I have written the password spelling as PSSS. See, Python is a case sensitive language, guys, and we need to follow the exact syntax. I'm running that particular stuff, the switch. So see, usually it will not take this much time because I have created my lab in Google Cloud, right? So via Google Cloud, it is taking time because I have chosen my server into the USA. That's the main reason. But see, I'm getting my particular output in front of me. See, I told you at the first moment that here, first line is entering to the enable mode, it is going to be printed. Then second line is what? It will gonna give you the whatever the particular, see, whatever the particular mode it is, it will gonna display in front of you switch one hash. Then we have sent this show IP interface brief command, and then we are printing the output. So this is the output that we are getting, right? Same output that you will get in our usual process. So in our usual process, what we used to do is, so let me give you that scene as well. So this is our EV topology. Let me go to the switch. This is my switch. First is enable, then this is the mode. Here what I'm going to do is show IP interface brief. See, the same result I'm getting via my automation, right? So this is our live lab. Similarly, we have 13 or 14 labs in each of the modules. So it will gonna be used to task for you to send or to fetch this type of details. So that's it from my end for today's demo session. right now, I think if you have any questions, you can ask, and then we can wrap up the class, right? So Himu, it's request, so you can unmute everyone.
Sure, I am doing it.
You can stop the recording as well.
Let me stop the recording.